Yes, we are back from vacation. It is the first show of 2023, first show, I believe, of season 6, if we're going with seasons, which I am, and I must welcome back Cody Gough.
Thanks, Brian. It's good to be here. Coming at you live from the western suburbs of Chicago, Illinois.
Oh no, what happened to you while you take a little paternity leave and then you come back like this?
I talk like this now, and boy, do
Is
we
that
have a
right?
big show to cover. We're going to talk about babies, specifically mine, because I have a new one. Then we're going to talk about my recent trip to Las Vegas and Brian's recent trip to Dallas. What happened? What did we see at CES? What did we see at the Adult Entertainment Expo? What did we
that's
see
right.
at a football game? And then a holiday recap. Back to you, Brian Noonan.
This episode may end in about 38 seconds. But I want to say first, it's very nice to have Cody back. Of course, I had a great time with Craig. Craig, if Cody is not here, Craig has hopefully will come back because we had a really good time. There was I'm just going to say we had a good time. A lot of good feedback, Cody. You got to come in hot now because you can't lose your job because of paternity leave. We know that, or maybe you can, but
I'm pretty sure I did.
Here you can't. So no, but welcome back. It's very exciting. Last time we talked to you here on Realities May Vary, your wife was ready to explode. She was. You still have beer. That's very nice.
A little Death Star from Revolution sponsoring my night.
Good. So we did hear, we mentioned on your the first episode you weren't here, that Craig was hosting with me, that you had the baby, your wife had the baby, but that's all we know. So the burning question in everyone's mind is, did you get coffee this time?
Actually, there was a funny story about the coffee, but God, it's been a long month. My baby turned 1 month old this weekend, so it's just over a month. So what was the coffee story? I believe what happened was, well, we scheduled the induction, and the induction took a very long time. And they figured it would take a very long time. So we get there Wednesday night, sleep comfortably. The next day comes, and they're like, it's going to be a long time, so just get comfy. So
they let you come in the night before they're going to induce?
Yeah, we were going to do it that morning, but they said that they probably will need the extra time.
Okay.
So they had us come in, late. So we got in like 10 p.m. ish.
Next day. Gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's late.
Slept, nothing happened the next day. We found Turner Classic Movies, and we watched the black and white version of My Fair Lady. Is that right? Or this? What's the one? What's the one where she learns how to be like a proper lady? That's probably My Fair Lady. Yeah.
Or
so there's a black and white. Yeah, there's a black and white older version, and then we watched Gaslight.
Okay.
The original film that coined the term gaslighting, kind of a psychological thing. So, and then it was just late in the day, and then eventually, I think what happened was I left the room to get coffee, or I said I could use the coffee, and that triggered her actually going into let's start doing this kind of thing.
Right. I'm not letting him leave.
It was I slept. After the second movie, we were sitting there reading, and I was just like, I'm gonna pass out. She's like, yeah, that's fine. We're not going anywhere. And I passed out, and 20 minutes after I pass out, I wake up to the doctor saying, okay, we're ready to push. Let's get the dad over here. And
hold on. This all started, they didn't wake you up? This is like last time. Weren't you asleep last time?
Yes, exactly. And so that was the trigger, right? That's as long as I'm asleep, my wife is able to push. Maybe it's like people that can't pee around other people because they're shy or whatever. She can't push if I'm awake. So I woke up, I sprung into action, and that baby was like a bullet, just shot right out.
Really?
She pushed through 2 contractions. Literally, she was pushing for less than 5 minutes, and it was just like bing, bang, boom, let's do this. So very smooth delivery, went really great. It was just happy, healthy baby. She was 7.5 pounds, I think, so smaller than the brother. And Yeah, just beautiful, weird baby girl that makes strange noises at night.
I
And
was gonna say, why is she weird? What makes her
because
weird?
she's
The
newborns are
horns?
like aliens. They're like just
Newborns are like aliens.
and it's awesome. So
So she's a month old.
yeah.
This is crazy. Is the house in upheaval? Have you slept at all, or is it? She's not sleeping through the night yet, is she? Or is she?
No, God, no. So you've
No. It's been a long time. My baby skills or recollection are all blocked out.
no. But like you have not experienced the experience of having a second child.
No.
Let me tell you, Brian, it is not like having the first child because it's like you're still just watching the first child, and now there's a second child just kind of there somewhere.
Okay.
Like we spend 70 to 80, probably not, or up to 90% of our attention during waking hours on our son.
Really?
Like I'll like put her down and my wife will walk. The number of times we walk in the room, it's at least once a day. One of us walks in the room and said, "Where's the baby?" And she's just like bundled over in a corner somewhere while the parent who is already in the room
Wow.
is dealing with my son, running around, cleaning things, trying to potty train him, playing cars and trucks with him, playing soccer with him because we watched the World Cup. Oh, that was the highlight of the hotel stay. Besides having a baby there, that we got to watch the World Cup semifinals in the hospital.
In the hospital? Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how is your son? Because he's only 2. He's a little more than 2. Is he? How's he responding to this? Having an interloper in the house?
Yeah, like consciously, totally fine. Anytime you say like, "Oh, look at the baby," he like laughs and goes, "Look at the silly baby," or "Look at the tiny baby." So consciously is great. First few weeks, I do think that he was a little bit more moody. He had some more tantrums, but
Yeah.
he seems pretty well acclimated now.
Does he get that that's his sister yet?
Mm-hmm. I don't even know that he knows the conceptually like what a mom and dad are.
Okay. I don't know. I always think your kid's smart to me. So I think he probably has all this figured out. If he doesn't, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I mean,
I expect a thesis statement on him when next time I see him.
You're going to get, as long as it's in the form of a song, you will get it.
Oh, has he turned musical?
Are you kidding? Brian, I'll send you some videos. Literally all he does, he'll sing for hours on end. Hours on end. He learned Holly Jolly Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I had to listen to Santa Claus Is Coming to Town, the Bruce Springsteen version, 19 times in a row one day. Just utterly nonstop. And now he'll just walk in the room and yell, "Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town," over and over. Like, it's unbelievable how much he sings. And it's just the best. It's the best.
Now, I saw you did send one picture of your son really on brand, being wonderful with his new sister, giving her a number of trucks. And we know from past conversations, your son is fascinated by any sort of vehicle, but trucks and buses he loves.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me said, "Oh, look at this kid. He's accepting his little sister."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had her in a little bouncy seat and he walked over and he placed 6 cars on top of her blanket. And it was just great.
How'd she like him?
Of course, she just has this like furrowed brow, like why am I alive? Kind of, what is this weird non-womb that I'm in?
Yeah, there's a lot of noise here and things. I don't even know what people are yet, but there's people. I recognize a couple of voices, but they don't match the face. Yeah. It's like when you meet somebody from the radio. Your voice doesn't match your face. I wonder if babies feel the same way. I thought you'd look different.
Maybe, I feel like she sleeps better during the day when my son is singing at full volume, because the second he goes to sleep, she's wide awake.
Maybe they've already worked out some sort of deal to just harass you and your wife.
I mean,
all right, listen, I'm up during the day. That's my thing. I sing, I play with trucks. You can have nighttime if you want.
She's been an easy baby. She's not colicky. She doesn't really cry a lot. Now, I say this knowing that
she's only been around a month.
The first month or two, like basically they sleep, so it's kind of normal for them to be pretty easy. But so far, she's really easy. She eats like a horse. She's exceeded all of her weight gain targets from her last 2 appointments. There was
Don't body shame your infant.
Oh my God, she inhales food and then she just like passes out for hours. I mean, she's basically just a milk drunk baby. She's either asleep, wakes up and screams for like 2 seconds, eats real fast, and then she's out again. She sleeps 20 hours a day. It's great.
Nice.
It's adorable.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're not overly tired.
Mm.
I mean, you're getting some sleep.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the day. You know, this morning my son woke up after 9 a.m.
Wow.
My wife woke up early to do an early yoga class, and I was supposed to watch him. And literally, I just slept through it. She fed my daughter at like 7:30, and just kind of like put her in the bassinet. And she had indigestion a couple times, and maybe rubbed her tummy a couple times, move her around a little bit.
Baby?
But the baby. The wife didn't need me to move her around during yoga. But
listen, I don't know what happens in your house.
No, she's been surprisingly pretty decent. Knock on wood so far. With like we do a focal feed where we just like force 4 gallons of milk into her at like 11 p.m. and then she's just out totally cold for like 4 hours.
Really?
So we each get a pretty
What's it called?
Focal feed.
Focal feed?
Yeah.
Never heard of that. What's the deal? You just bloat them up?
Yeah,
they get logy and they want to sleep.
Yeah, you just give them like a bit of a heavier, a bit more. If they usually take 3 ounces, you give them 4, for example, maybe.
And how many shots of rum are in there?
Couple rum chata. That's what we go.
Oh, it's rum chata. Okay, that's good. That's milky.
It's in the season.
Creamy. You know? Sure, that sounds good.
Yeah,
that'll put a baby to sleep.
Well, we mix in some eggnog if we really want her to.
Oh, now you're talking. Get the baby all nogged up.
Well, Christian Brothers.
Clog up them baby arteries. So, and your wife's doing? How's your wife? How's she doing?
She's just great.
Yeah,
she's just great. She's honestly, all she keeps saying is, "I'm getting way more sleep than I was when I was pregnant." Or
that's
no,
good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's less. She's less tired than she was when she was pregnant.
I would imagine that. So I've never been pregnant, but I've been tired. So I can empathize a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So.
Well, that's very good. It's exciting now. The family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice even number. When's you gonna go for another one? Throw it off 5, then you got to go with another kid to make it 6. I like having an even. Well, no, I have an odd numbered family, so maybe you go odd numbered.
That is not up to me.
Okay.
So you'll have to save that for another interview.
It's probably nothing you need to talk about right now. You got a 1-month-old and a 2.5. Not 2.5 yet, is he?
He'll be 2.5 in March.
Pretty soon. I was going to say pretty soon.
Yeah.
Split the difference. Closer to 2.5 than 2.
Uh-huh.
Very nice. All right. How many trucks were brought by Santa to the house? Or did Christmas you guys do? What did you do? Yeah, Christmas, because Christmas had to be low key, wasn't it?
Well, here's how Christmas went.
Yeah, how'd Christmas go with a new baby in the house?
So my lovely wife, so because he's nonstop singing, he'll grab an impromptu object like a hockey stick or a folded up tripod, and he just kind of tucks it under his arm and holds it like a guitar.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and he'll just stand there and kind of like rock his knees and listen really intently and bounce up and down while the guitar's in his hand. So my wife decides, let's get him a guitar.
Okay.
Like designed for 3-year-olds, a very like durable, sturdy one. It's got 3 strings, but you can actually play like songs on it. You can, cool. So she's like, this is the most excited my wife has been all year. She's like, can't wait to get it to him.
So you're not going to poo-poo the guitar. You're going to go with it.
Yeah, no, whatever. It was like, it was like $60 or something. It's like, okay. So Christmas morning at my house, I don't know how your Christmas day went. So we get downstairs. First thing we do, stockings. Do you do stockings first?
It depends, because Molly's the only one who gets stockings. For whatever reason, and this has been a source of contention over the last couple of years at the house, that I've been blamed for Debbie and myself not having stockings. Molly has a stocking, and all the dogs have stockings, but Debbie and I do not have stockings. And I've been told that I'm the one who put the kibosh on that. I don't remember it, but I have a feeling next year we're going to have stockings. But yeah, stockings usually for Molly, they went first. Normally this year they went last. The stocking went last. Okay. But I like the stockings.
I don't think my great grandmother was a knitter and a sewer, and she sewed these really beautiful stockings for my immediate family. But because of that, my mom didn't want them to rip or get damaged, so they became ornamental.
Okay.
We never did stockings, but apparently my wife did. So we loaded up. She loaded up mostly the stockings, and we had them all for the morning. Great. Get some candy. My son kept saying he wanted whenever we're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" He's like, "Strawberries."
All right.
So we got him, and then occasionally he would say ice cream. So we got him freeze-dried strawberries and, like, I don't know, some chocolate or something.
Okay.
So he gets into that. We give him a little piece, even though he hasn't eaten breakfast. We're fine. Then the guitar moment. So this is how my Christmas morning went. So we hand him the gift. It's wrapped. He goes, "Oh, maybe it's cars and trucks inside." And we're like, "Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's something else. Open it." So he methodically opens it, and then there's a big picture of a guitar on the box. Okay. And he goes, "Oh, let's open the box. Maybe there's cars and trucks inside." Okay. So we open the box.
At this point, are you thinking there's got to be a truck somewhere in this house I can go wrap up real fast?
At this point, I was thinking, how am I going to save my wife's Christmas when the inevitable happens? So he opens the box. And
let me guess. No cars and trucks inside?
There was actually a guitar inside.
Oh, that threw me off.
So he opens it, he stands back up, and he kind of like puts his little hands together, and he kind of backs away a couple steps, and he goes, "No, I don't want that. Maybe there's cars and trucks somewhere." And so at this point, my wife decides to start showing, "Oh, hey, no, come look, bud. Like, look, there's a guitar. Like, you can do this and you can do this." And he wants none of it.
No.
None of it. And then he's like, "I want candy. I want candy." So he tries to grab candy, and we're like, "Well, let's open some more presents, or we can have candy for breakfast." The biggest meltdown I've ever seen him have.
Wow.
He is he was unconsolable, screaming, freaking out. I strong arm carried him up to his room, put him in his room, shut the door. It's got a childproof lock, so he can't come out. Left him in his room for 35 minutes.
Merry Christmas.
Completely melting down. I go back downstairs to my less than enthusiastic wife sitting on the couch. I'm like, "Don't let him ruin Christmas. Let's do presents." So we opened.
We'll let our child ruin Christmas.
We opened each other's presents and made coffee and eggs and had breakfast together while my son was screaming bloody murder upstairs for a half hour. And after we had a nice breakfast and coffee and we'd open each other's gifts, we let him out, and I just opened his door, and he just goes, "Hey, let's go play downstairs." I'm like, "Okay." So,
wow. Wow. So has he touched the guitar since?
He has.
Okay. He's coming. But Christmas morning, I would have predicted the kid wanted cars and trucks from Santa. That would have been if you had said to me, for $1 million, guess what my son would like Santa to bring him? I would have said cars and trucks, and then eggs and toast. Those would have been the 4 things I thought Santa should bring your son. Cars and trucks, eggs and toast. No milk, no book. That's it. We still say that, Debbie and I, if we want to, no book, no milk, and I will not. If Debbie says, "Will you do that?" I will not. Eric, greetings from Maine. Thank you for being here. So, all right. Now, how did your wife react when she realized that Santa's gift was not as appreciated because I've been in that position where you're like, this is going to be the greatest gift ever. They're going to love this thing. And then they're just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I've never had anybody break down, but I don't give a lot of gifts to 2-year-olds.
Sure. She learned a lesson.
Okay.
To stop counting on a 2-year-old being excited, because this is what happened to us when we brought him to the beach for the first time.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Yeah.
He didn't like it.
He thought the sand was lava, like, because really little kids, like 1-year-olds, they have all these like nerve endings, and they're super sensitive. And when they feel the sand grains, their brains freak out. So he hated the sand. He would pull his whole body up into like a ball in order for us to, like, if I tried to set him down on it, he'd pull his legs up like he was an Olympic gymnast, like tucking his legs over his head. It was crazy. So he hated the beach. It was just awful. And she was, again, similarly, we took a whole trip to LA, got a hotel, like it was very expensive, and we visited her brother, and we go out and it was just the worst. So we've learned our lesson.
Okay.
And my dad's sage advice was, once the kids are 3, that's when they really get the Santa and the Christmas thing.
Probably, yeah.
So he's had 4 kids to practice this on. So, next year will be the year.
Do you remember you or any of your siblings having a similar meltdown?
No. We had one really crappy Christmas where there was kind of a family, just a disagreement on Christmas morning that seemed unnecessary to me, but that was it. It had nothing to do with gifts.
There's always, there've been a lot. I was responsible for a lot of tense Christmases. I wish I could blame it on like drinking or something. Yeah, it's just because I've always, as I've become an adult, I had come to hate Christmas.
Oh.
And I wasn't a fan of the gifts, and it was, I like giving them. I didn't like getting them. But over the last few years, I've become much better at that.
Well, very nice.
Yes, I've evolved. But yeah, it's so, but like when Molly was little, I don't think she always liked what she got, I think. Sometimes there was stuff that Debbie and I were more excited about that we thought she was gonna, get excited about, and she kind of, oh, thank you. And it was like, oh, okay. But that's, whatever. She was excited about something else. That was fine. But yeah, we had a nice Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Looked a little iffy on the 22nd, or a little tension in the house. Not all my fault this time, but I took the heat for what I was responsible for. And then it was fine. And we went to my mom's on Christmas Eve because we started this tradition a couple years ago where we go over there for brunch, and it was very nice. And that way she gets to see Molly react to what she gives Molly, and we get to see her react to what we gave her. And this was one of those years where we were very excited about one of the gifts, because when we were in Ireland and we were in her mom's house, my grandmother's house,
right,
the guy who owns it gave us a tile from the fireplace. So we took that tile and a picture of my grandmother's house and went and had it framed and matted and the whole thing. It looked beautiful. And I was like, oh man, I hope she likes this. I hope she gets what, and she did. She was very excited. I had brought a hammer and a hook, and we hung it. I said, okay, I'm going to hang it now. Why do you want to hang it now? I said, because I don't want you to sit it on the floor somewhere and it get broken. So pick a place, where you can see it. And so she was sitting in her chair and she's looking. She goes, how about right over there? Okay, boom, it was up, and now it's there, and she sees it every day. And so that was great. Nice. And yeah, and then Christmas morning, then we got home and just had some hors d'oeuvres, sat around, a couple of cocktails, some hors d'oeuvres, watched some movies, and everybody went to bed. And then I was left to handle all the gifts, putting everything out, filling the dog stockings, bringing up all of Molly's stuff. Then I had to get all Debbie's stuff. And that was after I watched Bad Santa and had my drink, which is my Christmas Eve tradition, which I did not break.
Yeah. So we watched Bad Santa.
Yes. Had you seen it before?
No.
Okay.
Had not seen it before.
That's a shame.
Did not expect that level of profanity.
Okay.
Or alcoholism.
Uh-huh.
I think it got better near the end, but for the first while, I was like, this is hard.
Says what it is right in the title, Cody. It tells you right up front. There's no false advertising. This is a bad Santa.
Yeah.
A bad Santa.
Yeah.
And it still cracks me up. Every year. Now I don't watch Bad Santa 2. Just Bad Santa.
I haven't seen that.
How'd your son like it?
Oh, big fan.
Sure. I have the same kind of sense of humor. Did your wife enjoy it? Will it become a holiday tradition in the Gough house?
I don't regret watching it. I don't know that we'll watch it again. Maybe with a group, or if Yeah, I don't know. That's
Or if I'm
fine.
babysitting at your house on Christmas Eve,
Perfect.
it's got to be played.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I don't expect it to be for everybody. It is what I like about it, well, everything. And also that I know it's my quiet time on Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
We do all the family stuff. Even at 26, Molly was like, she and Debbie were falling asleep. And I didn't say anything because normally Molly has me read the night before Christmas.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, she's asleep. Walter's asleep. Debbie's asleep. The dogs are asleep. I'm the only one awake. And then Molly wakes up and she's like, oh, I got to go to bed. I'm like, okay. She goes, aren't you going to read the story? I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't think you'd want it because you were asleep. No, I want it. So then she tells Walter that Pops is going to read a story. So we have to listen because it's about Santa Claus. And so I read the night before Christmas and they scurried off to bed. And I poured myself a big nog, went bourbon in the nog this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I was feeling the need for some alcohol, but it was really good with the bourbon. Just delicious. And had my big bourbony nog, a couple cookies that Debbie and Molly had made. Bad Santa. Perfect. Got myself a purple pink elephant and a purple gorilla.
I see what you did there.
You see
I see what you did there. So this is the first Realities May Vary since Christmas then?
Yeah, we did we took 2 weeks off.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was holiday hiatus. Because Craig did, I think, 187 hours of radio over the holidays.
Oh, probably.
He was filling in for everybody.
Hard worker.
Yeah. So he did a lot. National stuff, Indianapolis stuff, his own stuff, and now he's in sunny Mexico taking a little, not siesta. Well, he's probably taking a siesta, taking a vacation.
I think that's more Spain.
Is it? You can't take a siesta in Mexico?
I mean, you can take a siesta anywhere, but I think it's culturally more Spanish than Mexican.
All right,
but I could be wrong.
Don't cancel me. I wasn't culturally appropriating anybody's nap time. Do you see one of my presents is in the background? Do you see it? Do you see the brown Captain America back there?
On your left?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually did notice that's a new addition.
That gift made me laugh harder than any Christmas present I ever received. That is actually a Spuddy. It came all the way from Ireland. When we were in Ireland, come here, Spuddy. When we were in Ireland, we saw these things are everywhere. Spuddy, he's your potato buddy. And Spuddy sometimes is dressed as a doctor or a policeman or a teacher or whatever. I don't know how Debbie and Molly found somebody who made a Captain America Spuddy.
Oh my gosh.
And now Spuddy he's for sitting around. So I can put my hands in Spuddy and he can sit on my lap like this. He's got little pockets in the back. So I could put, it says my snacks, put some snacks right there. Put maybe a beverage right up Spuddy's ass right there that I could get my gadgets. I could put some gadgets in Spuddy. And so, yes, Spuddy made me laugh like no other present I had ever received. I could not have been happier with Spuddy.
Incredible.
Walter was beside himself trying to get at Spuddy. Walter wanted to eat Spuddy nonstop. It was Spuddy immediately went high up, so Walter could not get to him. So that is an Irish potato stuffed animal dressed as Captain America. That Christmas morning, he sat on my lap and I had my hands in his pouch. I was like, a child. I was just giddy with Spuddy.
That's amazing.
Yes, it was. So that was everything was very lovely on Christmas. That was just the weirdest, most unique gift that made me laugh like a lunatic. Because I'm opening the bag and I knew immediately, I just yelled out, Spuddy! Because Debbie and I saw him when we were at Blarney Castle in the gift shop, they had 1 million Spuddies. And I was like, oh, this is so hilarious. How do we not get a Spuddy? So actually, Debbie has a little Spuddy on her backpack, and Molly has a little Spuddy on her backpack that we got there. We got like a little pack of 3. And then, but now I got the big Captain America Spuddy.
I didn't see any Spuddies in Ireland.
Well, you didn't go to the right places. You know, you're going to high class joints. I'm going to gift shops that sell stuffed potatoes.
Yeah. I don't know if I was going to high class joints. What are you drinking?
Water.
Oh.
Agua. I'm doing dry-ish January, I think. Because last night I had a margarita. But I'm also, I went back teaching today full time. So I am teaching first grade. And today was the first day back from break. And it's a long, convoluted story that I won't get into. But let's just say I'm exhausted. These little kids ran me ragged. So I was like, if I have one drink, I'll be out. First, I'll be babbling. Then I'll be swearing. Then I'll be, yeah, I'm doing moist January, Mike. For all the ladies out there, doing moist January.
That's hot. Yeah. I have to, so there was a thing there's a Christmas related thing I want to tell you about, but I have to grab a box from downstairs.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
All right. This is going to be exciting. Cody's going to get his box.
Hold on. Hold on.
All right.
1 second. Box.
It's okay. He's going to get a box. Hopefully it's not a guitar box, because the guitar thing does not seem to have panned out, which I understand. It's sad, but now I did good with my gifts. Molly and I did good with our gifts for Debbie. She was very, very happy. Molly was very happy. But it's nice when your kids are grown, they can tell you exactly what they want. So there were a couple little surprises, but basically it was, Molly had asked for certain things and she got them, and she was very, very excited. And I had asked for a sweatshirt, a hooded sweatshirt from a brewery in Southern Illinois, Big Muddy Brewing, because they have a Saluki type of beer. And I got the sweatshirt. I was just saying, it's easier, as hard as it was with your wife buying your son the guitar, it was great with Molly because she just tells us what she wants. And so we can get it and throw a surprise or two in there. And she was ecstatic. Nice. And I had obviously Spuddy was a wonderful surprise for me, but I had only asked for a sweatshirt from Big Muddy Brewing with their Saluki Dunkle Dog logo.
Did you get it?
And that was the first thing I opened. I was like, okay, Christmas is solid. We don't have to go any further. And then Spuddy came along, and I'm like, all right, somebody, am I getting murdered? Do I have, did somebody find out something about my health? Because I'm 2 for 2 and I'm not having to manufacture joy. It's genuine. So that was wonderful.
That's
all right.
Great.
What do you got in your box? What do you got in your magic? What's in the box?
So I didn't get this for Christmas. So for New Year's Eve, I had my friend Icebag John came over.
Oh, he's generous.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So he, through his job, one of his clients is this company out of LA called Last Crumb.
Last Crumb.
So these are the best cookies I've ever had in my life.
Really?
They might be the best cookies ever made.
Oh my gosh.
For a box of 12 costs $180. So about $12 a cookie.
Okay.
Or no, is it more than that? Maybe it's $15 a cookie.
Wow, the old man in me is like, there's not a cookie in the world worth that kind of money.
56, 68. Yeah, $15 a cookie. It's worth it.
Lord.
So I'm not gonna probably pay for it, but if you're looking for a very ostentatious gift for a family or something to bring to a family gathering, I swear to God, Brian. So here's the box. This is the box it comes in.
Wow.
This box is gigantic. It says open the damn box on the side. It's one of those.
Maybe there's some cars and trucks in there.
It's one of those magnetic flaps,
Wow.
that like just clicks.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's a nice box, and then you open it, and then the presentation inside is just like,
oh my God,
the dozen box, never crumble. And it's made in Los Angeles only. And they've got all these like individual kind of slots for the cookies. And it comes with a booklet, a whole booklet that has what I think are actually really kind of stupid little vignettes for each cookie. So for example, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek. So
can I ask a quick question? How big are the cookies?
They're
pretty good size.
Yeah. I mean, what do I compare it to? I need something for scale.
What do I compare thee to? Summer rain.
They're like
a coaster size, bigger than a coaster.
Bigger than a coaster, maybe like. God, I'm trying to think of like any household.
Like a saucer that you might put a coffee cup on?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, about the size of a saucer, I would think so. I would think so.
It's that's close enough.
And in the middle, they puff out. I mean, they're probably 2 inches thick in the middle.
Oh,
so at the sides, they're closer to 1 inch thick, but they definitely all balloon in the middle. So I'd say, I took a knife and I cut it into 8 pieces. I cut it into a plus and then another plus.
Yeah.
Is that right? 2, 4, 6. Yeah. So 8 pieces. 8 pieces, and each piece was probably you could eat them in a bite, but you could also get a healthy 2 bites out of it.
Okay.
So 30 bites or so, up to, depending on whatever. Very satisfying. So
Mike says they'd be a lot cheaper if they weren't in a $50 box.
They probably would.
The packaging does look extensive.
It's got a whole thing. It's called a cookie tasting, and it's classy. And then this is part of.
Oh, look, yeah, and they're using knives too.
Knives and forks. It's a cookie tasting.
Knives and forks with cookies.
You start. Oh, and if you microwave it for 10 seconds, forget about it. It's on steroids. You sit, you microwave it. You sit these cookies. You chew responsibly. You study. You meet the cookies. You taste the cookies. You read the tasting notes before you read it. You sniff it. You snip on it, a little snip, and then you savor it, and then you share it. So,
really,
yeah, this was
sounds
just
like a lot of work on a cookie.
This is what the cookies kind of looked like. I mean, just lots of different, big. They
look very nice, yeah,
fluffy. So the box. So John didn't give me the whole box. He just brought some over, and he's like, I can't eat these or I'll get fat. So you got to have some. So
all right, hold on. I thought he had brought you the whole dozen. I was like, oh, for the baby or something. That was a nice gift. Now it turns out he brought you a cookie. Okay, one cookie. Have you met
Icebag, John?
Yeah, that's why I sarcastically said he was just very generous.
So here's one that I had. Let me just give you.
I was going to say, what did he bring you? The ones he didn't want.
By the way, you can go to lastcrumb.com to check these out. I had a blueberry muffin cookie that tasted better than any blueberry muffin I've ever had.
Really?
I had a red velvet one. So this is one that I actually ate. This was the Donkey Kong.
Oh, you like that one because of the name?
I did. So this is I believe it was like a banana marshmallow pudding cookie.
Wow.
Let me just read the description, Brian.
Please do. I would love to hear this.
And I quote.
Yes.
Donkey Kong is our flagship cookie. We love all our cookies with an intense, oven-hot, fiery passion. However, if tomorrow's Zeus sent down a thunderbolt that sent our cookie factory into a blaze, and we could only save one recipe, it'd be our banana cream pie. In the words of our head chef, our banana cream pie cookie is the best damn cookie we have. We'd up the ante and say it might just be the best damn banana dessert on the planet. Unlike other bakers who use artificial banana flavoring that leaves their desserts tasting like some wacko product extension to Pepto-Bismol, we use the real thing. Real, ripe, bright yellow, remove the peeled bananas, accompanied by velvety marshmallows, voluptuous pudding, white chocolate chips that melt at the slightest hint of heat, and, of course, vanilla wafers.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
They did it. Here's the thing. I just pulled it up. You can't just go on their website and order cookies. They're not dropping new cookies for 7 days, 16 hours, 46 minutes, and 16 seconds.
Yeah.
So these guys are, this is brilliant. They could be selling Chips Ahoy's, but they're creating demand that these are the most special cookies. Sure, you could go to Crumb Cookies and stand in line. You can go to Insomnia Cookies, go walk right in, get yourself a nice big warm cookie. But we've got cookies that you can't even order. We're not even going to tell you what kind we're making. You got to give us your number, and then we will tell. Roger wants to know if they'd be a sponsor. I can't be a sponsor of a cookie place that, may not give me a cookie for a week and a half. So you have to give them their info, and then they'll call you or email you when the bakers decide they're going to bake. That is exclusive right there. That is exclusive.
I'll tell you, my overall experience, I was like, this is too LA. Like the description I read you wasn't that bad. Like it was actually kind of like, it's like whatever, a little cheesy, but fine. But like the one, like listen to this. It's the James. This is called the James Dean. This is a Oreo cookie they have. Let's just listen to this one. It's not as long. This is the last one I'll read. It's 1940 something. Jimmy just got turned down by the girl of his dreams. A voluptuous vixen named Vanessa with red hair that falls for miles and a pair of lips that make many a man's lips stutter. He asks her if she wants to grab a milkshake after the game. She says no on account of her dating the star quarterback, on account of Jimmy knowing more about theater than pigskins, on account of Jimmy having a pimple-ridden baby face instead of a chiseled jawline. Post-rejection, Jimmy trudges down to the diner by his lonesome. He hears the roar of the stadium in the distance and feels a pain in his gut, envisioning Vanessa cheering on her knight in shining armor as he cannons a Hail Mary down the field. Cannons a Hail, I don't like that.
I don't
He's
either.
discouraged but not defeated. He orders an Oreo milkshake, takes a sip, feels a wave of delicious hope waft over him. In that moment, he decides it's time to get the blank out of Marion, Indiana, and move out west. Years later, Vanessa's claim to fame is the time she turned down James Dean and that goddamn Oreo milkshake. Like, come on. It's stupid. It's stupid.
What does that
right?
tell me about a cookie?
It's so LA. Like, it's too LA. Like the slick giant box, the very expensive.
Oh, well, the guy, one of the pictures on the website, it's a guy with every knuckle on his hand tattooed. Oh. You just see the big tattooed hand lifting a silver dome off a platter of cookies. Yeah. All boxes are assorted by the head baker to provide the best tasting experience. Each batch is made to order by the head baker team.
It's ridiculous, but I will say I've been to.
It's a Kardashian cookie.
I've been to cash grabs like JoJo's Milk Bar. JoJo's Milk Bar is $20 garbage milkshakes. There's a JoJo's Milk Bar downtown. It's a chain. It's garbage milkshakes that look pretty so you can Instagram them. They taste like crap. Anything from Baskin-Robbins is better. The like leftovers that they dropped on the floor at Baskin-Robbins is better. There are bad cash grabs. I gotta say, as much as I think it's pretty cheesy, I think it's a little unnecessarily exclusive. It's kind of over the top. Maybe not my taste in terms of the presentation, but good God, these are the best cookies I have ever had and probably ever will. So if you ever get a chance, lastcrumb.com, throw it on your calendar for like November to check back. Order a box of them and just share them with your friends.
Was he in LA? Did somebody give them to him?
They shipped them.
How did he get them?
They shipped them, and in fact, the shipping box,
like a business gift or something.
Yeah, and the shipping box was just as decorated and custom as this box that was inside it. So it's. I mean, it is.
It's very high end. It sounds.
If you need a last meal, if you like are gonna die, order the Last Crumb cookie. Like it will be worth it as your last meal. I'm telling you.
I got to be honest with you. All these gourmet cookies, and I've had Crumb, I've had Insomnia, I've had some others. They're all good, but I don't like big mushy cookies.
Oh,
I like crispy cookies. I like some crunch in my cookie. Even the ones Debbie and Molly make for Christmas, they know the ones that I really like, they make them a little crisper. There's something about the big, I know people love the big gooey cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will I eat one if, Molly had done that. Molly got some when she lived in New York. There was some bakery in New York with these cookies, and they were a big deal. And when we were going to pick her up because it was our anniversary, she bought a couple of these cookies, and they were really, really good. But then I go, it's flour, eggs, milk, and stuff. They're good, but I don't know. Listen, to each their own. I'm not going to turn it down. If somebody wants to send me some Last Crumbs, I'll probably cut them into 16ths and then sell them on the street like crack. Get the rock. Every time I drive by a Crumb cookie or Insomnia, they're always packed.
Insomnia is good. And we got insomnia the night I proposed to my wife when we got married. But
nothing wrong with a good insomnia.
They're good, but
all right. So these are better. These are the best cookies. And you weren't just swooned by the box. The box didn't do it for. It wasn't the presentation. It was the actual cookie. If I had given you that cookie in a Ziploc bag, would it have been as good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the blueberry muffin, for example. It's like a bite. And I'm like, whatever is good about a blueberry muffin, whatever you like about it.
Yeah.
There's that part of it times 1,000. And I'm like, oh my God, this is better than a blueberry muffin I've ever had. I'm telling you, man.
How many did he bring you?
Well, he brought the whole box and said, here, take 1 or 2. And I ended up taking like 4.
All right.
He just didn't want, he and his wife were always dieting.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, they had a wedding when they got married like 3 months ago. You diet before the wedding, and now they're going to the Bahamas, I think, next week or Mexico,
so he's got to be Speedo ready.
Beach bod, right? So I get it, but whatever. But
wow,
I'm not a foodie, and Brian, there's not a lot of things where I'm like, oh, the extra money is that much worth it. But if you're into desserts, big fluffy cookies is the one. Way to go.
All right, last crumb. So there we go. Boy, they got a lot of PR. They got a lot of plugs right here. Maybe we'll send us each a cookie. We don't need a whole box. You just send it in a padded envelope. I don't need the big magnetic box and the.
What did you do for New Year's if you weren't eating big fluffy cookies?
What is it? Well, we did do our usual sushi. That's Debbie and I, because we had big plans, but we did do our sushi. So we had sushi, and I went to bed at about 5:00 on New Year's Eve. It was very exciting.
PM?
Yeah, 5:00 p.m. I went to bed.
Like both seem equally unlikely.
Well, both are true. We had our sushi at about 3:30, and then I was in bed at 5:00 because I had to get up at 11:30 p.m. because we were leaving at 1 a.m. on the 1st to drive to Dallas.
Oh,
yes. So my New Year's Eve was, nothing. We got up, packed. We got the same thing we always did. Molly was going out for New Year's Eve. She was going over to her cousin's house for a little get together. And I said, that's fine. Just, I'm leaving at 1:00 in the morning. If you're here, you can come to Dallas with us. If you're not here, I'm leaving at 1:00 because there's stuff we got to do, stuff I want to do when I get there. I want to get down there so I can relax a little before we go to bed. It's a long drive. So I get up, and she was here, and she and Debbie were ready. And at 5 minutes to 1, we pulled out of the garage and headed to Dallas. Started the trek. And because the reason we were going to Dallas was Tulane was playing USC in the Cotton Bowl. It was Tulane's first major bowl game since sometime in the 80s. They were not favored to win. USC is perennial powerhouse. Their quarterback had just won the Heisman Trophy, but it was a major bowl game. And so when they won you might have already been on paternity leave when they won the championship, the conference championship. That game was on a Saturday, and I went to bed that Saturday night excited. We had watched the game here as a family, and I woke up Sunday morning, and Debbie and Molly said, we're going to go to the Cotton Bowl. I said, what? Yeah, we're going to go to the Cotton Bowl. Tickets are only $35. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but it's in Texas. And, and I was like, well, yeah, we can get tickets to the game for $35, but, a hotel is going to be insane. Well, it wasn't. We got a nice Homewood Suites. We got a nice big 1-bedroom suite for under $100 a night.
Oh my God. 15
minutes from the stadium. Now, had we waited a day or two, that room went up another $100 a night. But when we booked it, it was like, oh, so I'm like, all right, well, I can't use the hotel as an excuse. I can't use the game tickets as an excuse. We're not working, so I can't, it's the holidays, so I can't use that as an excuse. What can I still use as an excuse? I looked up quickly. I knew we weren't going to fly, but I looked up and it was going to be like $1,000 more than that for the 3 of us to fly. And I was like, well, we were driving anyway. So I got the brakes fit, had the car once overed. And we left, and it was once we got out of the city, because there were still the New Year's Eve drivers on the road a little bit. We got out of the city, everything was fine. A lot of fog in Missouri, but then like Molly stayed up for a little bit talking to me. Debbie was asleep immediately. Then Molly went to sleep, and they slept pretty much till 7:30, 8 o'clock when the sun was coming up. And then, then it's fine. We're, talking, and we stopped for lunch at a Whataburger because we were in Oklahoma, so we got to have a Whataburger.
Yeah.
Then we went to Buc-ee's. Now, you've heard of Buc-ee's, haven't you?
Yes.
The giant rest area or truck. It's not even a truck stop. It's a travel plaza. They're all over the South. They started in Texas. They're all over the South. They're ginormous, and they have everything. They have fresh brisket and pulled pork sandwiches that they're cooking right there. They have a jerky deli, every kind of beef jerky you can imagine. They have a fresh bakery. They have every kind of branded merchandise. They have snacks. They have coffees. They have an entire wall of soft drinks, of every kind of soft drink you can imagine. And it is, I walk in there and I just start laughing because it's so gigantic. It's one of those things like, oh my God, if somebody came from another country and you took them to Buc-ee's, they would literally go, what's going on in this country? Over here, I can buy a really expensive cooler. There, I can buy a giant smoker. Over there, I can get a sweatshirt with a beaver's face on it. And then I can get 87 pounds of garlic beef jerky, grab myself a brisket sandwich and 18 bags of sour gummy worms and 14 liters of diet lemon cherry Coke Mountain Dew, and then be on my way after I got gas at one of the millions of gas pumps, so you almost never have to wait to get gas. So that was right on the way, right as we're about to, just outside Fort Worth. So we go to Buc-ee's, and as we're going in, I go, listen, we wanted to get to the stadium because the day before there was a fan fest and there was a battle of the bands between USC's marching band and Tulane's marching band, and and it was like 80 degrees. It was gorgeous. So I'm like, let's do this today because we don't know what tomorrow's going to be. We ended up being at Buc-ee's for an hour. It was like we stopped at Disneyland. We're all at Buc-ee's. We end up with matching Buc-ee's hoodies. The three of us now have matching Buc-ee's hoodies.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, we are basic bitches. There is no two ways about it. We are as basic as they come. Debbie and Molly, for some reason, when they're going on a trip, like if they're staying at a hotel or going on a road trip, they have to buy enough snacks to feed everybody in each state we pass through. We left the house with I'd say a buttload of snacks would be a good estimation of how many snacks we had.
Yeah,
a buttload.
That's the metric system, I believe.
Yes. We had a lot of Christmas cookies that had been made. Then there were, Debbie and Molly sometimes they need sweet snacks. Sometimes they need savory. So there's Doritos and there's some other chips and there's some pretzels. And, then at Buc-ee's, I think we bought 5 or 6 different kinds of beef jerky.
It's a lot of beef jerky.
It's a lot of beef jerky. So we get the beef jerky, which was it's very good beef jerky. I'm not going to lie. I make fun of the fact that we buy all this stuff because now our house is full of beef jerky. And the big beef jerky off that comes up later on the trip home. So we stay at Buc-ee's for an hour because we started to leave, and then I almost bought a collapsible cooler with a big Buc-ee's face on it.
Oh my God.
I'm like, hey, we could use this for Mardi Gras on the float. And then I'm like, no, we have a cooler. No, it was only $20. I'm like, no, I can't. So I put it away. And then Molly had bought a hoodie, and their hoodies were incredibly cheap, like $22. So I was like, I'm treating myself to a hoodie. I've been driving all day. I want a Buc-ee's hoodie because I'm an idiot. And then Molly got one. And then we look at Debbie and we go, really? You're not going to get a Okay, I'll go get it. So Debbie goes and gets her Buc-ee's hoodie. We got a Buc-ee's Christmas ornament for the tree.
Oh my God.
Oh, sure.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100% serious. 100% serious. Buc-ee's Christmas ornament. And then we go down to the Cowboys Stadium, which is where the Cotton Bowl is the next day. It was gorgeous. We parked, we come in. Goodyear had made statues of the mascots for each school out of like tire and rubber stuff. It was beautiful. The bands were playing. Cowboys Stadium is just a monolith. It's the biggest thing you come driving down the interstate, and it's all in this area. Like Six Flags Over Texas is there. Whatever the Wild Waters or whatever the Six Flags water park deal is on the other side of the interstate. Then the baseball field is there and a big entertainment district with bars and stuff. And then the AT&T Stadium, which almost blocks out the sun. It can seat 100,000 people. They had 2 nights of WrestleMania there this year.
Oh yeah.
And the roof will come back and open up so that God can watch his team play. That's what they say down there, the Cowboys fans, that when they open the roof, God watches his team play.
Really?
It's insane. That is what they say. Because, whatever. Because everything's bigger in Texas, including the delusion. So we hang around there for a little bit. And now I've been up for, I don't know, I've driven about 16 hours. So I've been up for a while. And I'm starting to get where my eyes don't work anymore. Everything's very blurry. So we're going back to the hotel to check in. And I was like, listen, Molly had wanted to go for Mexican food because we're in Texas. And I was like, can we do that tomorrow? Because I can't go sit somewhere. I'm out of it. But we went to Taco Cabana, which is a place I had gone when I worked in El Paso. I used to go eat there all the time. I had taken Debbie to a Taco Cabana when we were in Dallas last time, and she liked it. So we go right. It was like a mile from the hotel.
Wait, so you went anyway?
Well, we went just for it was fast food.
Oh, okay.
So Taco Cabana is like a fast food place, except they have $3 margaritas. So yeah, that's nice. They're making the tortillas right there. They got $3 margaritas, and it's fast. So we go in, we have dinner, we go back, sleep. It's great. Next day, it's game day. Oh man, we're all jazzed. We put on our Cotton Bowl gear, which of course we had to get Cotton Bowl gear. How could we go to the Cotton Bowl without Cotton Bowl gear?
I mean, it had so much Buc-ee's gear at that point.
We bought the Cotton Bowl gear well before we had our stuff. We traveled with our Cotton Bowl gear, just a T-shirt. But anyway, there were a lot of Tulane people staying at the hotel, so it was kind of fun. We go down to the buffet, to the breakfast, and there's everybody in their Tulane stuff and their Cotton Bowl stuff, and they're like, "Oh, roll away!" And there was that, "Hey!" But in everybody's eyes, it was like, we're gonna lose. Because USC is going to mop us up, which was fine. I was okay with that because I thought, well, this will be fun. And I got to watch Molly evolve from girl who knows a little bit about sports, but didn't really care about it. Because when she was at Tulane, baseball was big, but football sucked and everything else. And they didn't go to the games because it was 100 degrees in the stadium. So she didn't really care. To in the fourth quarter, screaming, spittle coming out of her mouth, swearing to the point where I like, if I'm not swearing at a game, Molly swore, Debbie and I both looked, and there was a family sitting in front of us, and they all turned back, and I'm like, oh my God.
Was she drinking?
No, she had one frozen margarita an hour before the game. No, this was sober Molly, caught up in a wave of emotion and football fervor that I had never seen before.
Amazing.
Now, I don't know if it's connected or not, but within 3 minutes of Molly screaming fuck or something, sorry, the family in front of us left. They went somewhere else.
Oh boy.
And then of course, we had to give her a hard time. Oh, Molly, look, you drove those people away. You made those people leave. I did not. Everybody swear. I'm like, okay. Well, Cody, I know you're not a big sports guy either. This was hands down the most exciting live sporting event I have ever attended. And I've been to Stanley Cup playoff games. I've been to an NFC championship game at Soldier Field. Tulane, in the first quarter, I was like, we're going to be out of here in the third quarter. We're going to go have that Tex-Mex dinner. It's going to be great. Because Tulane immediately went down 14-0. And I was like, it's going to be a long day. Well, then they immediately tied it up. So as we're going into the final couple minutes of the half, it's 14-14. And I'm like, hey, this is a game. They're making a game out of it. Then within the final 3 minutes, I think, of the first half, USC scores twice. They go into halftime 28-14. I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, I get it to a point because you've got the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, these giant receivers. Tulane was getting picked apart. Well, halftime, they do a big halftime show. It's Texas. So the halftime show is incredibly huge. You're in this stadium where the video screen goes from about the 10-yard or 20-yard line to 20-yard line. It's gigantic. It is the most crystal clear picture you have ever seen on any broadcast equipment ever. I'm sitting there looking at this monolith and going, oh my God, I don't even know if I want to look at the field. Because I'm in the 400 level. I'm looking down. They all look very tiny. But here, in this godlike TV screen, everything looks like I could just reach out and touch them. It was unbelievable. Tulane comes out first series of the second half. They score. Boom, now they're down. It's going back and forth the whole game. Then they go down. They're down late in the third quarter. They're down by 15 points. And I'm like, this is not gonna go. Then it goes into the fourth quarter and things are looking grim. And Molly's all fired up. She's screaming about the defense. She's calling out, she's talking about, guys checking down on the line. I'm like, what are you talking about, Jimmy the Greek? Where'd you come up with all of this? So she's all upset. Everybody around us is Tulane fans, except two USC fans are sitting right behind us. And they're being, they're not gloating or anything. It's a young couple. They're just there to have fun. And I say to Molly, there's got to be like a big defensive play that Tulane capitalizes on, and then they might have a chance of tightening it up. The Tulane punts. The USC punt return guy goes back to the very corner at the 1 yard line. The ball hits him. He bobbles it and he drops it out of bounds. USC takes the ball at the 1 yard line and Tulane gets a safety. And the place is going nuts. Now when we bought the tickets, we were lucky enough. I was like, I think Tulane's going to be the visitors. So we were on the right side. We were on Tulane's side of the field in the stands. The place is going crazy. And now, like, Tulane's band compared to USC's band, about a quarter of the size. But all of a sudden, these kids were blowing their horns like they were, calling the angels out of heaven. The band was going crazy. The people were going crazy. Because now it's like, oh my God, they could do this. They only need a touchdown now to score. So USC kicks off. And this is the longest series I've ever. Every time it got to third and long about 3 different times on this drive for Tulane. All right, 3rd and 12. And we're like, oh no. And then suddenly, what? They did it. They scored the winning touchdown with 9 seconds left. Tulane scores. And my brother is texting me. My old boss from TMJ is texting me. I'm getting all these texts. Oh my God, this is the greatest game ever. I can't believe you're there. Congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop. There's 9 seconds left. And I had watched this USC quarterback pick apart Tulane all day. So there was no part of my body that thought, yeah, he's done. I figured he was going to step up, unleash a bomb, and all the hopes of the Green Wave would be crushed. Because that's how I'm a Chicago sports fan. So that's the mentality we always have, that nothing good will happen to us. They get to third down. I got to say, this was the most, you've seen the Keystone Cops, right? Running around all crazy. It's an old Keystone Cops. Well, this was, all right. So it's an old dated reference, but imagine people just running willy-nilly. USC calls a play where they must have done 8 or 9 laterals. They were tossing the ball all over the field. They couldn't throw it forward because that's a forward pass. So they keep, lateraling back, and they were trying to go side to side to try to find a hole to break through. And it was going on forever. If you Google final play Tulane versus USC, and it was like, what are they doing? They're throwing and the Tulane players are chasing. And every time a Tulane player would chase it one way, the guy would lateral it the other way. And in reality, it probably only took 5 seconds. But up in the stands where we think they've won the game, but they haven't yet won the game, it's like, stop him. And finally, Tulane player tackled one of the USC guys, and it was over, and it was insane. Like people, because really, I would imagine the only people who thought they could win were the team,
Right.
Everybody else thought, I thought if they make it a game, the trip would definitely be worth it. As long as they don't get blown out 100-0. And then they do the trophy presentation, and there's confetti and fireworks, and it was just insane. Just insane.
I'm pulling up. I just Googled USC Tulane thrilling ending. Looks like there was a referee almost penalty on the final Tulane score, but it ended up being not a penalty. So
there were a lot of.
It starts at 5:43 in this video.
5 minutes and 43 seconds?
In this YouTube clip. And they're still lateraling it. So I'm at 5:57 now. So it's 15. Okay. So he gets tackled. The ball goes away at 6:05. So 22-second play. A 22-second play where they're just lateraling it, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, because time had run out. This was it.
The whole crowd just loses their mind. That people pour onto the field. Everyone in Tulane colors are screaming, "Oh my God!" You can read their lips. Everyone is just losing their minds. That does look like a pretty incredible.
Molly may or may not have cried.
I'm sure. Were you all crying?
No, but we were. I was. My heart was pounding a mile a minute. It was.
Oh man!
It was just unbelievable. And the funny thing is, like Molly says, Molly and her friends are all joking about this, and it's a big joke at Tulane now that now they're a football school. Yeah. So there were kids there who just had flags that said football school. No Tulane markings, nothing. T-shirts, hats, just said football school. And so Molly's friends are texting her, "Oh my God, do you believe we went to a football school?" So that now Tulane is a football school. It's that was, oh man, that was great. And I did, after that, we went to Fort Worth. I did get to visit a new brewery because I can't leave town without trying a new brewery.
Sure.
So I had told them, that night was the night we were going to go out for a nice Mexican dinner. Mm-hmm. And so we went over to Fort Worth to the old Stockyards district, their historic stockyard district. Debbie and I had been there years ago when my brother graduated from SMU, and I had been there a number of times working in that area. Now it's historic. They still have the Coliseum where they did all the cattle auctions and all that stuff. But now it's kind of a cool, hip, tourist area. And Second Rodeo Brewing is there. And if we weren't going out to dinner and I had another day, I would have gone back because the beer was really good. They had this outdoor area that was like a 2-story glass enclosure that had trees and all sorts of seats, and they had live music in there. and it was very a guy doing country music and a big painting of Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings on the wall, and it was just such a great place to just sit and have a beer and feel like you were having a beer in Texas.
Yeah.
So Second Rodeo Brewing, if you're ever in the Fort Worth Stockyards district, fantastic.
Did you party with a lot of Tulane fans after the game?
No, I asked Molly because a lot of they were like, come to Texas Live, which is the big entertainment district right next to the within walking distance of the stadium, and Molly was like, yeah, you know what? If I was here with my friends, maybe, but I don't want to just go and stand in crowded bars and scream. She goes, I really would like to go and have dinner like we were gonna and do our own thing. And we did see a lot of Tulane fans in Fort Worth walking around the stockyards, and everybody's like, roll wave, roll wave. So we go to dinner at this place, Joe T. Garcia, which has been around since 1935. Because, we had Googled, we don't want to eat at a chain restaurant, We had gone to Taco Cabana the night before, but that's a fast food quick thing. We go into this place, and I wish if I ever go back to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, I would go because they had the most elaborate outdoor garden to eat. There was a short line to go in the dining room part, and Debbie, because I dropped them off and I went to park, and Debbie said, oh, well, can we eat outside? And they said, well, you can, but that's another line, and that line went around the block for people who wanted to eat outside. So Debbie was like, no, we'll just eat inside, which was fine. We walk in, and this huge table starts applauding as we walk in because we still had our cotton bowl shirts on. They start applauding. I go, you realize I didn't play, but thank you. It was very exciting. And then more Tulane people came in, and this woman came over from the clapping table and was like, we just were pulling for Tulane the whole time. We were pulling for them because somebody stole California stole the Oklahoma coach, and we were big Oklahoma fans. So we didn't care. We just wanted to root against them, and we wanted Tulane to win. And man, that was an exciting game. And we're like, yes, it was. And then another person came over and goes, I was listening to the game. Were you there? And we were like, yeah. Oh my God, was it as exciting as it sounded? We're like, yeah, it was. It was. And that place, the food was great. Everything. It was such a great, quick little trip. And we left the next morning and started driving home, and we stopped at the Illinois version of Buc-ee's, Wally's. Now, I've told you about Wally's before.
Yeah.
We actually stopped at 2 Wally's on the way home. They have 2 locations. We hit them both. One is just west of St. Louis, and I needed gas. So that was, as I'm looking at the mileage, I go, because I saw it when we were driving down. I was like, oh my God, there's a second Wally's. So I made a mental note.
Are they the ones that have all the different chicken salads?
No, that's Chicken Salad Chicks.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That's opening in Batavia very soon.
But I do remember Wally because you said last time you went, you were on the way to Peoria.
Yeah, there's one in Pontiac, the first one, the original, and then there's one in St. Louis. Nice. So we stop at the one coming back because we needed gas. We stop at the one near St. Louis, and Debbie and Molly are again just So I said, this is because I'm 12 and I'm punchy from being in the car so long. I'm like, we got to get some of Wally's beef jerky. And then we'll have Wally's beef jerky and Buc-ee's beef jerky. And we can have a big jerk off in the car and see what we like better. So I know. Trust me, Cody, I was slappy.
Man.
But we did. We bought jerky there too. And Debbie, so I thought that bad joke was done. And then I come home from school today, and Debbie was working at home, and she's like, I just got to tell you, in the jerk off, I like Buc-ee's better than Wally's. I like, all right.
And that's how reality is made very lost. It's family friendly.
That's it. We're talking about jerky, comparing jerks, beef jerks.
Mm-hmm.
Wally's a little smaller than Buc-ee's, but still, same thing. We had the fresh brisket. So we stopped. Then Pontiac, we needed gas again, one last gas up, and we just got Debbie and Molly got brisket sandwiches for dinner at Wally's, and I had a chicken sandwich. It was crazy. It was just crazy. So the whole trip, and no arguments. I didn't lose my temper on the roads. I was on my best behavior.
Wow.
2,000 miles in 3 days. Constant contact with the wife and daughter. And I did not lose my mind.
Wow.
So there you go. Happy 2023 to me.
Well, that sounds like an incredible trip and a big experience. And I can kind of relate because it's funny because I think probably within the same 3-week period, you and I experienced the most exciting, riveting sporting event probably we've ever watched. You were live. I was not. I was watching the World Cup final from home.
Go!
Yeah. So, but that was, I can relate to that part, but man, that sounds like an awesome trip. I'm very jealous.
It was fun. It was a fun. I love a road trip, and I love leaving at. I'm like the great Santini. I love leaving in the middle of the night to avoid traffic.
Mm-hmm.
The next road trip is Mardi Gras, so I'm ready for that.
Yeah,
just get in the car and just drive. Been driving all night. My hands wet on the wheel.
Nice family adventure. Well, I'm glad that the ladies in your family talked you into doing that because it sounds like it was a very unforgettable experience. Very exciting.
It was. Cool. It was.
Cool.
Now, listen, it doesn't compare to having a new baby in the house.
Right.
But,
right.
We're not in competition. We all have big adventures.
I got to say, man, when was the World Cup final? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in a long time. We haven't
seen me in a long time. So the World Cup final was December 18th. So my daughter had been born at that point. Although, again, all she does is sleep all day. So I don't I literally don't remember her being part of the World Cup experience because she was probably just sitting in the room sleeping.
Yeah.
But
she was there.
But look, just real quick anecdote about the World Cup. And I know it's over. And I'm sorry that it's over because I'm a big advocate of world-class soccer when it comes around.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you're not the kind of dumbass American that's like, oh, it's so boring. They never score. Have you watched hockey? Come on. So soccer can be really exciting. And the World Cup semifinals, the day one of the semifinals, insane. The games were insane. Both of them went to a shootout. And that was of the first day. The first day, both of the semifinal games went into a shootout. They were very close. There was at least one upset. They were incredible. Casey, we were just on the edge of our seat while we're sitting in the, in the hospital, kind of with our newborn. But the World Cup final was Argentina versus France. And my wife had lived in Argentina for multiple years while she was getting her PhD.
She a big Messi fan?
In comparative literature. Well, I don't know if I would say that, but in countries like Argentina, particularly in Argentina, everyone you could murder someone in Argentina during the World Cup final and no one would know.
Right.
The whole country just stops. I've seen videos of people, there was some guy riding his bicycle down a main thoroughfare in urban Buenos Aires, and there is no one. The streets are empty. No cars, no people, nothing. And he records it the second they win the World Cup. And so he's driving down this empty road. Think pandemic. Think Michigan Avenue during the pandemic, right? Nobody.
Right.
Literally empty. You just hear a roar coming from every direction, and people just start running into the street, and just the whole place is going ballistic. So she, I think she likes Messi. Messi is a soccer player that is legendary in his performance, but understated in character. He's not obnoxious. He's a family man. He's not some weird scammer. He's not he's not like a Dennis Rodman type. He's just a respectable, good soccer player. And he had never won a World Cup. And this was his 5th World Cup, which means he's been in the World Cup for 20 years.
Yeah.
20. So, of course, you're pulling for him automatically, right? A little bit. And so, in that regard, but she just knows so many people. She lived there for so long. She knows people, and they're all so invested, and the whole culture's so invested. And Argentina hadn't won a World Cup in 50 years or something. So, they get to the final. It's a really big deal. They have a very strong team. And that final, the World Cup final, my dad said in 50 years of watching the World Cup, he's never seen a final that exciting. I don't know if you watched it, Brian, but
I didn't see the final. I did watch a little here and there, but no, I did not see the final.
Oh my God, the final. The final was insane. It also went to a shootout. So just the whole time. I mean, Argentina had a lead and we're like, oh my God, they're going to win. And they blow the lead. And then France comes back and then overtime comes and then France is up. And then we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And it's just like, how could they mess this up? I literally I couldn't handle it emotionally. We were both just like a wreck. And then like they score the final goal. And I mean, my wife is just like immediately crying. Like, I think I started crying. Like, it was just,
oh man,
it was insane. So, I can relate. Again, I wasn't there live, but, I don't know. I mean, it's a little less exciting if you know who won the final, but if you haven't watched the final and you want to watch some really good soccer. And the funny thing is, the first half was kind of boring. I actually, after like halftime, I went in the kitchen and I started doing dishes and like cleaning up baby stuff and stuff. I missed the first like 15 minutes of the second half.
Oh, geez.
And then I came back in the room because Argentina was up. And then I came back in the room and then things got nuts. People are scored and tying and then like extra play time and then like kickoff. It was like, it was a lot. So
that's very
can't wait for the next World Cup. You know, despite the fact that this one was partially supported by slave labor.
Yeah, partially.
Almost entirely, which I say flippantly, but is really like, F FIFA. Like, that's all I gotta say. That's like the most evil organization basically that there is. Do you know that they were gonna do so next World Cup's being hosted by North America? Did you know this?
Yes, I do know this.
So cities all over. Chicago apparently was in the running, but then Chicago dropped out because FIFA refused to discuss any financial details at all with the Chicago committee.
Oh, well then.
So if an organization is too corrupt for Chicago, that seems like a problem.
Yeah.
It's like Chicagoans know how to be corrupt. They're like, no. You got to tell us how much money is involved so we know how corrupt to be.
Right, so we know how much we can skim.
Right. But since they wouldn't do that, no dice in Chicago as of now. So anyway. I didn't mean to make that about me, but I just it was a notable part of December because really that's all that happened in December to us because we were just sitting at home with a newborn.
Yeah, and now we're in a new year and new thing. We didn't even get to the CES, but I will tell people we will be talking about the CES tomorrow on WTMJ. You are going to be my guest, which I'm very excited about. I'll be back tomorrow and Friday of this week, and Cody will be on with me tomorrow. Those of you who are going to listen to this later, you'll have to listen to the WTMJ podcast too to hear Cody talk all about CES. And all right, tomorrow on TMJ we can't talk about the one part of your CES experience that I am dying to know about. We'll talk all about the electronics and all of that. But you were staying at a hotel that was hosting another event that I was very, I'm going to say it. Don't at me. I was jealous.
Okay. So, yeah. So, this is my 4th or 5th year back with a client that pays me to moderate technology panels at the Consumer Electronics Show. So, like Brian said, tune in tomorrow. I moderated panels on artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and a couple other things. Pretty exciting, pretty cool. I learned about cutting edge tech. Very fun. But I'm in the Uber on the way to the hotel, and there's a truck in front of me with one of the trucks with a ad, a big LED LCD sign, and it says AVN Expo, the Adult Entertainment Expo, and the AVN Awards. This is a porn star award ceremony and expo.
The Adult Video News.
And it is at the Hilton at Resorts World. Resorts World is the newest hotel on the Vegas Strip. It opened sometime in late 2020, I believe.
Okay. Where is it on the Strip?
It is just south. It's next door to Circus Circus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just south of Circus Circus and essentially across the street from the Aria and the Wynn near the north end of the Strip. It's actually right across the street from the Peppermill Lounge.
Oh, I know the Peppermill Lounge. So that's got to be where, never mind. The Stardust used to be. It's got to be close to where the Stardust and the Westward Ho used to be.
I think that's where the Stardust used to be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, nice hotel, big, pretty solid. It's not my favorite hotel, but it seems kind of not higher end, but like it's nicer. The rooms are okay. The casino seems smaller than most of the casinos on the strip,
Okay.
weirdly. And then the location I like because you're across the street from Walgreens.
That's true.
Dude, I bought a 6-pack of Blue Moon. I didn't buy a single drink from the Hilton Resorts World. I saved myself $80.
There you go.
I got that. I got a big bottle of water that I've left downstairs, apparently. But anyway, so I'm behind it, and we're in the Uber behind this thing, and it goes AVN Expo at Resorts World. I'm like, are you kidding? Brian, I swear to God, there were porn stars everywhere. All over the casino.
Let me ask, could you really tell that they were porn stars?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yes. And I know it's a subtle difference because there's a lot of slutty going on in Vegas. All right. There's just like Vegas is just whore central, basically. if whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. It's just I'm gonna wear as little as I can, and I'm basically gonna just flaunt it. And there was that, but then there was that to another level where like there's just women not wearing pants. Basically thongs, schoolgirl outfits, just butt cheeks hanging out everywhere. Women walking around essentially with just no bra, with just basically pasties. There was a woman, a larger woman with very stout, stubby legs, who had her breasts were literally larger than basketballs. And I'm not exaggerating at all.
Oh, I'm sure you're not.
They were inhumanly large. I was like, they must have been double E's. Or something.
Did you pay $50 for a picture with her?
No, she just was walking out of the elevator by my hotel. It was Brian. The first night, I just took a Blue Moon and I just walked around the casino, looking at porn stars walking in and out, like just everywhere. So
that's funny.
So here's the thing: I worked. So I got it Wednesday night. I worked the trade show Thursday and Friday, and then I left Saturday afternoon. So I had Saturday morning to do whatever I wanted.
Sure.
And I was so close to going to the AVN show. Because I'm like, all right,
you're
like,
there, yeah.
Well, I'm lucky, I'm very fortunate this client has paid me to go back to CES for like several years.
Right.
Every year I assume it's the last year. They could go in a different direction, hire different talent. A lot of things could happen, right? So assuming this could be my last CES ever, I literally could be the last CES ever. Certainly this is the first CES that overlapped with AVN. Every year I see ads for AVN.
And it's in your hotel. I mean,
it's in my hotel. So I'm like,
I travel.
I literally called my wife and I said, I was going to try and like wheel and deal, maybe find some, I'm kind of unemployed right now. So maybe hand out business cards, network a little bit at CES, like, could I just go to the porn show the last day? Would that be bad? And she's like, do what you want. I don't care. She's a saint.
I don't care. I just had a baby. I don't even want to think about that anymore.
I was so tired after Thursday and Friday night. I slept in Saturday, and then I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let me go walk over to AVN and see what the deal is. There was a very long line to get in.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, I'm not gonna wait in this line to get in, so I didn't go. But that's the only reason I didn't go.
You should have you should have started, or you could have landed some passes.
Right. Next year, I'm just going to go to the hotel where AVN is.
Yeah.
I'll bring my wife and we're just going to sit and people watch.
That I would have loved that. That would have been hilarious. Did you recognize anybody?
I did not recognize anybody, but I could tell they were porn stars.
Nice.
Some of the men were a little more obvious. They're shirtless with like a leather harness, like you're like, that's probably a porn guy, right?
Probably,
there's definitely some of that, but dude, I mean, like I got in the Uber on the way to the airport, and the guy's like, oh yeah, I brought like, I drove like 8 porn star girls this weekend. And it just, I met a guy in the elevator that was there for the AVN. He told me about, like, it's just.
What did the guys in line to go into the thing look like?
Average, like mid 30s, late 30s, average body type.
Okay. I keep thinking everybody looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
No, they weren't all overweight. There were some, but man, it was just so funny. It was so funny. And like The thing is, Brian, I just had a newborn and I'm unemployed and I don't leave my house anyway. So I was, Vegas is a lot.
You're like a dog that got out of the yard. You just want to run around and go, sniff things.
But just Vegas, right? The second you get off the plane, there's slot machines.
Yeah, it's
right. If you've ever been to Vegas, it's like Vegas is just a lot.
Debbie. Debbie is very, very conservative. She gets to Vegas, she gets a cigarette in her mouth, and she sits in front of the slot machines. One night, I'm not exaggerating, 12 hours she sat in front of a slot machine. So yeah, Vegas is intoxicating.
Dude, so I already knew Vegas will be a lot for me, but Vegas literally at a porn convention, I couldn't. I texted my wife and I was like, I'm going to die while I'm here.
Yeah.
I can't process everything going on. So
you didn't pick up a personalized fleshlight or anything? No souvenirs?
There was some adult toys at CES, which I'll maybe talk about tomorrow. But next week I can talk maybe a little bit about CES.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah,
am I coming back next week? What's the plan?
I hope you are. It's all up to you. Listen. You're still the co-host of this thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope you're back.
I can probably come back. That sounds great. I'll plan on next week. So I'll do a little more CES talk so I can get more in detail than I will.
Yeah, I would like to
tomorrow, but
this one, since we haven't seen each other or talk for a while, we had to catch up. We had to find out about the baby and our holiday hijinks and you trying to score with porn stars. There was a lot we had to get to today.
Yeah.
But again, you will be joining me. I'm very excited. You'll be joining me tomorrow night on WTMJ. We were going to talk about CES. There will be a lot more TMJ coming up in the near future. So keep an eye on the Facebook page for all of that. And if you want to hire Cody to come and talk about porn or anything else, Roger wants to fill in. All right, I'll keep you in mind, Roger. But listen, last time, Roger, we gotta make sure your tech is up to snuff. We got a standard here. It's the only standard we have is a technical standard. Content-wise, we don't, but everything else we gotta make sure we're up to snuff. But hopefully, Roger is doing well. His puppy had a little hard go of it, but is now doing well. Thankfully, knock on wood, everything is good. With what's Taylor Swift, the Beagle. That's his dog's name. So
yeah, I got a very nice congratulatory card from Roger about the baby coming.
Very nice.
Because I was able to fit the newborn into our Christmas card, as you know.
Your Christmas card was lovely.
Thank you.
Christmas card was lovely.
I was proud of that.
Very nice.
I had like a 1-week-old photo shoot, and then it was like, let's go.
And then Christmas came and, you disappointed your son with a guitar. But horrible.
Yeah. It was
horrible. I wish I had a recording of maybe there's cars and trucks in there. Let's open the box. Maybe there's cars and trucks in there. And just the look on your two faces knowing that there's no cars and trucks in there.
My wife said to him later, she was like, why is Christmas the worst day of your life?
Because there are no cars and trucks. It's literally the day that you could get me a box of Hot Wheels and it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And yet now you think I'm, I was going to say Jose Feliciano, but I've already made a Keystone Cop reference. So I'll go Slash because I know you'll get that.
I get that.
All right. All right. Well, listen, we got to go because it's late and I got to get up early and Cody's got a newborn and a 2-year-old in the house. So he never sleeps. So that is that. But don't forget, keep checking the Facebook page for all of the WTMJ stuff and everything else that will be popping in. Cody is back. Maybe Craig will still be in Mexico next week. So Cody, I was going to say we'll have Craig on again. We'll have Craig on again when he gets back. We'll get it all figured out, but I'm glad you're back, Cody. Congratulations on the baby. It's good to see you. And man, I would have loved to have sat in a casino with you watching porn stars walk by. That would have been smoking a cigar, drinking some bourbon, and watching the porn stars roll by.
Tell me about it, man.
Sounds like a beautiful country western song.
Tell me about it.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for downloading. So make sure you tell your friends. What do we like? We follow. That's what we do now. We like and follow. For 2023, what do we do?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Tell your friends. It'll be out tomorrow. We can load it up. But yeah, we'll talk to you again next week. You remember how to wrap things up?
I do not.
Oh.
Bye.